All right, and we are live. We got a lot of things going on, and Coach Hatcher's still running a little late.
We take turns. Remember, we said
Hey,
that last week. We always take turns. Last week
I
was my
know.
late. This week it's you.
Last week it was like 7 minutes, 8, 7, whatever. Now we're only 6 minutes behind, so it's all good.
Not too bad. We're getting better.
It's good. We're getting better. All right. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to what is it? February 20th. Yeah,
Very
February
true.
20th edition of our Tuesday night Tennessee USA Wrestling Power Hour podcast. Mike Hatcher, state chairman. I'm your host, and Kenya Sloan is my co-host. Kenya, Kenya and I usually chop it up maybe a couple minutes before we go live, but
We
for
did
one,
good.
I was running late, so okay, full disclosure. But then you know what, we might as well just save that for let everybody share in the business.
Let the people see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See,
This is what they come for, right? To know what's going on in our lives. Fair
yeah,
enough.
of course, yeah, yeah. I mean, forget about all the really cool guests we have on. It's just everybody wants to know what we're doing. They probably know what you want to know what you're doing. They want nothing to do with what I'm doing.
Oh, whatever. Your stories are always cooler. Half is like, oh yeah, last minute I decided to take a trip to this, country, and it was fine, whatever. I met up with these people, and caught a flight back, and I landed 30 minutes ago, and now I'm here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not this time. I didn't go. I didn't go. I just actually came from a meeting, so it's good. And then I just been like, I tell you what, I watched a lot of wrestling last week. That's what I did. It was a lot of wrestling last week, and I love wrestling. Thank goodness I do, because man, it was a lot of wrestling. Friday I was at the D2 State Championships at Montgomery Bell, which was awesome. NBA, man, if obviously you've been to the facility, Kenya. You know what's up. NBA has got well, man, I hate to even use the term high school. It's might as well be a college.
Yeah.
It's just called a college. Amazing facility. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, D2 state tournament there. Obviously, Coach Simpson and his crew do a fantastic job putting that on, that event, hosting it. Yeah, great event. Wrestling was fantastic, I tell you, and we'll get more into that in a little bit. But I'm telling you, man, we had some D2 weight classes in there that were loaded. I mean, they were like, really just great matchups. It was a great tournament. So I was there Friday, Saturday. On Sunday, I went and did 2 kids tournaments, AAU regional tournaments. Oh yeah, I'll tell you what, I was. Yeah,
Where were those?
I was in it all weekend, boy. Yeah, the first one I went to, because we had a lot of. I mean, like obviously, like I said, I got in my young guns kids. I say that very loosely, especially this time of the year. Being a supplemental club, we have the Blackman Wrestling Club, to the Nolensville Wrestling Club, Brentwood Wrestling Club, that come and just do extra practices, our supplemental stuff. So yeah, some of them were wrestling up at Wilson Central High School. Shout out to my boy Ham for hosting that. They had a great tournament there, big turnout at that tournament. And then I went down to Nolensville. Shout out to my boy Melzoni, who we had on last week. Jamie Morrell hosted a great tournament. They had, I want to say, I think Coach Shipman told me that they were probably going to have over like 800 kids at this one regional. Oh my God. So yeah, so I walked into the Wilson Central gym, and they have a great facility. There was a ton of kids there. I mean, it's just, hats off to what AAU's got going on. Ton of kids running around. It was awesome. Great competition. And then went down to the Nolensville one, and it was chaos. I mean, I shouldn't say chaos in the fact that they didn't do a great job, because they did.
It was just a lot of people.
But I mean, you get that many people in one. It was wild, but that was awesome. But it's great though. You look back at it, and that's where our interest is. Coming through with these younger ages, and future looks bright here for. I'm just going to say future looks bright for Middle Tennessee. So I'm going to be a little biased. Sorry. I was
He's like, hey, your guys' years.
Sorry, I love my Chattanooga people. Talked to multiple of them. How many of them I talked to at the state tournament last week at an MBA? But yeah, I mean, I'm just going to call it what it is. I'm Middle Tennessee homer now. So sorry. We want to win too. We want to win here too,
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was good. But yeah, it was a long week. Shout out to my assistant coaches at Young Guns for running the Young Guns practice on Sunday. Tanner Smith, Phil Anderson. Appreciate you. So I could go into the kids tournaments, and yeah, it's cool. It was great to see, honestly, the level of talent we have coming up through here. So I was excited. And then, not that I was lacking on sleep enough, but I decided to go to the Clint Black concert on Sunday night. So yeah, Might as well.
Wow.
Yeah, why not? Why relax? I don't need to relax. I don't need. Yeah, I'll
Sleep.
sleep and I'm dead.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah. So that's one of my all-time favorite country artists, Clint Black. You probably don't even know. Kenny don't even know. She's like looking at me like, who?
Yeah,
Clint, what? What is that? Clint Black. Yeah. So Google it. Look up Spotify, Kenya. Yes, he's old like myself, but he is awesome. He's still got it. So yeah, needless to say, yeah. Well, actually, yes. Then, shoot, yeah. Again, not that I didn't have enough going on, but then, yeah, I decided to wake up early for our President's Day camp, our Young Guns President's Day camp, which I had at Brentwood Academy. We had almost 60 kids there coming to watch my boy Cody Cleveland. Yes, my boy Cody Cleveland came in for a clinic from 9 to 3. 9 to 3. Did a fantastic job. Kids had a great time. And then, I said, why not? Why don't I just go right over to Ravenwood High School and run their practice too? Haven't had enough wrestling this weekend. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's what's going on in my world.
See, this is exactly what I mean. We heard your story and it was so fun. And we're going to hear mine. It's going to be like, do a little this, do a little that.
Yeah, but you actually did some coaching though. You did some coaching.
Good.
Yeah, how was it? How'd it go?
I did. Yeah, it was good. It was so cool to be at our region tournament, or I guess maybe it was technically, our region tournament. But I couldn't believe how many girls were there. Like whenever I was doing it, there was like 50-50 chance if each weight class was even going to have like a bracket. Like some of them were having like round robins. Like if you just went to the tournament for some of the, depending on what weight you're in, like, hey, you already punched your ticket to state pro weight. So it was so great to see how competitive it was. I'm so proud of my girls. Like it's obviously a very emotional time of year because for some girls, that was their last competition for their season, and for some, it might have been their last competition, ever. If you maybe didn't make it to the state tournament and graduating and don't plan to wrestle afterwards, and so it was cool to be a part of it for some of my girls, even though I haven't been a part of their career for a long, long time. It's like it still felt special to share some of those.
It gets intense, doesn't it? This time of
year.
It
is intense. Yeah, lots of emotions. But man, I was. I'm proud of the tournament was ran really, really well. But I was also just proud of my girls. Like even the ones that didn't maybe make it to the state tournament, I get so inspired whenever you have someone who just shows up and has nothing but grit. Like, hey, buddy, you've been wrestling for 4 months. If you don't make it to the state tournament, it's okay. But you look really freaking good out there for someone who you picked them up for 4 months. You look like you know what you're doing. So it's just so great to see them like pour their heart out and care so much and want to do good for themselves and their team and stuff. So it was fun from a coaching perspective. That was the only coaching I did this past weekend. And then since then, man, so I coach at the Catholic school here in Knoxville. And I probably should know, but honestly, I don't know why they don't have school, but it's some kind of like Catholic holiday for a few days, like Bishop's Day, and then there's like another one they got for like Ash Wednesday one day. So they've been like not having school a lot recently, which has completely thrown off our practice schedule. And so I just kind of been having an open dialogue about my girls, like, hey, when do you guys want to practice? Da, 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 da. And I always expect them to take the easy route, and I low-key hope that they will. But every single one of them was like, well, we really like our 6:30 morning practice. So not only can we continue to do that on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but since we don't have school this week, can we just do it every day this week and then maybe stay after 8:30? And I was like, what? But how do you say no? How do you say no? It's asked to get extra work in,
I know how I say no these days. No. No.
Yeah,
no.
I know.
When I was your age, yeah, exactly.
But I really just am yeah, I'm just so impressed. I'm like, there's no way.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now like locked Kenya Sloan into the coaching world, because I'm telling you right now, seriously, we've been doing this podcast. This is episode 20, by the way. And so this would be, 5 months. Dang, time flies.
That's crazy.
And at the beginning, she was like, sticking her toe into the old coaching ranks. I'm not sure that physical. Now look at the passion and listen to the passion in this girl's voice. Here we go.
Oh, I know. And I told all of my college buddies, I told my college coaches, even probably my high school coaches multiple times. Any one of my buddies from college would have said, yeah, Kenya will never coach, because I said it. I was like, once I'm done, I'm done. I'm like, I'm never coaching. I'm not doing it. And now look at me. But this is all of us, I guess. But anyway, so that's been my week. I did a little coaching, a lot less sleeping because, I mean, been waking up early for practices for them, but it's been good. Over the weekend I went, so my dad lives out in Maryville, and his wife, it was her birthday, so I went out and like stayed the night with them, played some games with my brother and stuff. And I've also become like a really, I hate to admit it, but I think I'm becoming like a crazy cat lady because the only reason I didn't want to go is because I didn't want to leave my cat here. So I packed him up in his backpack and we all went and had a slumber party in Maryville after our regional tournament this past weekend. So yeah, a lot more slower pace than yours, but
there you go.
Got a little coaching and got to spend some time with my family and my cat.
Oh, love it. Love it. Well, I mean, you say you did a little bit of coaching, but you've done a lot of coaching. I mean, this postseason time of the year is it's intense. It is intense. I mean, it's, it may not be more like coaching, like the amount of time, but the emotions run a lot higher.
They do. I agree.
So with that being said, I think you have some results for us down the pipe. What's happening on the girls' side, Kenya?
Yeah. So on the results, obviously we had our all 4 regions had their regional tournament this past weekend. And so I went ahead and compiled like at least the finals match for each region. There's only 4 of them for us. So it's a lot easier to review than obviously some of the boys stuff. So yeah, I separated them by weight class. So I'll just, from each weight class, I'll say who was in the finals match and then who won. So at least like the top 2 in each one. So that way we're not here all day. But the 100-pound weight class from Region 1, we had Cora Finstad in the finals match from Gibbs, who won by fall over Kaylee Cross of Science Hill. And then from Region 2, we had our girl Riley Sturgill from Baylor, who won over Alyssa Archer from Franklin County. And then from Region 3, we had Vivian Mariscal from John Overton. She won, found an early fall over Zoe Crawford of Siegel. And then for Region 4 was Miranda Mobiles of Clarksville. She defeated Allie Barker in her finals match from Arlington. And what looked like a pretty tight match ended in decision that was only 5-4. At 107 from our first region, we had Ellie Underwood from Seymour won over Jenna Baines in a tight match. Man, I got to watch this, and I think Ellie ended up maybe getting best match for this for our region tournament was the award she got for this match. And it was a good match. We had Jenna Baines on our podcast a few weeks ago, if you remember her. So it was a 3-2, just like a nail biter match. So Ellie won over Jenna Baines from Greenville. And region 2, we had Peyton Agnell from Tullahoma. She beat Micaiah Parker from Cleveland in her finals match 3-0. And then we had Addison Brown from region 3, McGavick winning over Micaiah Souza from Springfield. And then from region 4, we had Gracie Turberville from Montgomery Central, who won over Rebecca Humanick from Bartlett. And then on 114 from region 1, we had Esperanza Cruz of Gibbs, winning by fall over Riley McCaga from Halls. Region 2, we had Senna Grassman from Cleveland over Melanie Val from St. Andrews Suwannee. Region 3, we had Abigail Page of White House. She defeated Kylie Reeves from Pope John by fall. From Region 4, we had Cheyenne Mikowski from Northwest. She defeated Majeta Mojica Soto from West Creek by major decision at 120. From Region 1, we had Grayson Voorhees of Seymour, who won by fall over Tori Iams at Halls from Halls. Region 2, we had Natalie Shane, Bradley Central over Olivia Collins from Cleveland. Region 3, we had Maya Bundy from Mount Juliet, defeating Johanna Pantojas, I think, from Riverdale. High scoring match, 10-6. Lexi Dean from West Creek in Region 4 beat Ava Johnson, Clarksville, 12-7. And at 126, we had Delilah Nichols from Gibbs. She won over Alexa Castillo from Science Hill, 2-1, so a low-scoring match. Jakaya Parker from Cleveland, Region 2, defeated Gabrielle Rinkin from Bradley Central in a first-period fall. Abigail Vander Heiden from Siegel, Region 3, defeated Shy Ring from Blackman. And a first-period fall again. Region 4, we had just Sonia Bearfield from West Creek, defeated Kaylee Angona from White Station. and a fall at 35 seconds. So I'm sure that kind of hurt. 132, we had Sophia Scatterfield over Gabby Newton, Jefferson County. Region 2 for 132, we had Stella Wilson, St. Andrews over Alexis Page, Cumberland County. Region 3, we had Emerson Wilson, Ravenwood over Halai Cox, McGavick. Region 4,
Emery Wilson.
There you go.
I know the Wilsons. I love them. They're awesome.
You got to make your have your little that moment.
Right.
At Region 4, we had Elisa Rinkin from West Creek over Cheyenne Tandy from Northwest 2-0. At 138, Region 1, we had Delilah Queen. Ooh, there's my shout out from Knoxville.
There's your shout out.
From Knoxville Catholic, defeated Dakota Ward, Science Hill, a fall in 40 seconds. Those arm spins, man. She can't help it. Abigail Silverman from Cookville over Hardy Hale from St. Andrews. We had from Region 3, Molly Bowman Siegel over Catherine Mason from Page. And then Region 4, Mariana Bowen, West Creek over Jocelyn Koloski from Montgomery Central. At 145, Region 1, we had Trinity Roberts over Hannah Houghton. Region 2, Adeline Benoit from Cleveland over Beckler Durst from St. Andrews. Region 3 was Finley Craig Summit over Aaliyah King Independence. Region 4 was Sally Johnson of Northwest over Audrey Lewandowski, Montgomery Central. That was 1-0. That's a matchup I would have liked to see that match. At 152, Region 1, we had Sawyer Ward, Science Hill over Cricket Jones from Carnes. From Region 2, 152-pound bracket, we had Bella Harris of Cleveland winning over Kaylee Hardy, Bradley Central. Julia Jerka from Region 3, Mount Juliet. She defeated McKaylin Coleman from Springfield. Region 4, we had Janiyah Johnson from Kirkwood. She defeated Lily Avalos from Rossview. At 165, we had Rebecca Deo, whoop, whoop, my other shout out, from Knoxville Catholic. She defeated Hannah Luling from Gibbs. Region 2 was Piper Fowler. She won by a forfeit over Samara. Oh, Piper's from Cleveland. She won by forfeit over Samara Tafidi from Eastridge. So I'm not sure what happened there, but I'm sure I'll find out. Yeah. Donna Patterson from Blackman defeated Danica Mueller from Forest. And then from Region 4 for the 165-pound weight class, we had Cariana O'Connor from Montgomery Central over Sunshine Ellis. That's a beautiful name. Over Northwest. From Northwest. At 185, we had Ella Murphy from Hardin Valley. She defeated Emma Henson, William Blunt. Region 2 at 185, we had Alicia Jennings from Coffee County. She defeated Diamond Young from Cleveland. Region 3 was Lakeria Kelly of Pearl Con over Carter Grissom from Riverdale. And then from Region 4, we had Jahili Velez Almondovar from West Creek. She defeated Nora Pina Corana from Clarksville. And then at 235, Region 1, we had Macy Greenlee from West Green. She defeated Cheyenne Smith from Halls. Region 2, we had Madeline Zunnen from Cleveland. She defeated April Demas from Livingston Academy. Ashley Williams, Region 3, from Stewart Creek, defeated Samantha O'Leary Summit in the finals match. And then from Region 4, we had Tevoneria. I practiced this name before we got on. I'm still messing it up. Tevoneria Munen, I hope. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. From Northwest, she defeated Shania Weisinger from Clarksville 9-3.
Nice.
So those were all of our results, at least like the top 2 matches. Some of those finals matches could have been almost any pair out of the top 4 could have been in the finals match for some of those. So I know that they were really close. The Coach of the Year awards from each region, not in the correct order, but we had Chris Bedell from Clarksville Northwest.
Yay!
Coach of the Year from my region. 1 from Gibbs. We had Tim.
I'll do the shout out there. Shout out to my boy Bedell. Yes, sir.
Yes.
That's my shout out. Can't be the only one doing shout outs here.
You started the shout outs. I'm about to give another shout out because Tim Pittman from Gibbs won Coach of the Year from our region, and Tim Pittman has been watching me wrestle since I was 7 years old. He's coached every coach that has been like instrumental in my career whenever they were kids. So he's been in it. He doesn't give up. He just loves the sport. And he loves kids. So obviously, Josh Boskin, not a surprise, won from Cleveland. And then our last Coach of the Year award went to Coach, that's better, Coach Andi Jones from Blackman.
Is this a transition?
This is our transition.
This is a transition? There we go. Hey,
hello.
We get better. See how that transition came up?
That's beautiful.
After 19 episodes. You know, Kenny and I are figuring it out. I'm still working on mine. I'm still working on my transitions. But
I liked it.
Kenny's a lot better. She's a lot quicker learner than I am. I'll get that in episode 40.
And I'll give a shout out to Bedell too. Everybody's killing it. So
everybody's shouting out Jeff Bedell.
Yeah.
Coach Bedell.
I agree. Well,
who we got here, Kenya?
Coach Jones, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone would like to introduce you to Coach Andi Jones. She's head coach of the girls program over at Blackman. But she also has like an extensive wrestling career in our state and outside. Don't make that face. You do. This is a pioneer we have here. An extensive career like in our state and outside of it that I actually don't know a whole lot about. So my first question is actually I want you to tell us a little bit about when did you start wrestling? What did you do in your wrestling career as a high school girl in Tennessee? Because I know there's some magnificent things that I'd love for you to share with us a little bit. And then where did you wrestle after you left Tennessee?
I started wrestling my sophomore year in high school at Warren County High School under Steve Fulham. And eventually Ronnie Bray was our assistant coach my senior year.
Shout out to my boy Bray.
How many shout outs can you do
it? But anyhow, I just took on to the sport really quick. I loved it. I played basketball, believe it or not. I'm 5 feet and a half inch, and I just can't forget that. That was spicy though, you know. But anyhow, and they had just started a wrestling program. And I was like, and big tomboy, obviously. And I was like, So they welcomed me. My coach was probably my biggest supporter. And at a certain point, you got to set goals. And so for me, I wrestled maybe on two hands how many girls I wrestled all through high school. It might be one. And so my goal was to be the first girl in Tennessee to qualify and wrestle in the state tournament, in the boys state tournament.
And you did that.
Yeah.
Don't leave that part out. She did do that goal. So yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things you're known for in our area is Coach Jones is the first female in the state of Tennessee to qualify for the boys state tournament. That's a really big deal. You're going to skip over that part.
It was fun. Well, I had a goal, it was hard. This was in 97, many years ago.
Whoa, wait a second here.
Oh, you're older.
Yeah. Listen, Coach Andi Jones, we on this show, we keep the whole, remember back then and keep the whole age thing to a minimum. Because we have somebody at my age right here on the show. They're all Kenya's age, and you can refer to it like that. But when you got an old guy like this, we got to tone down that.
Yeah. Well, so back in the day, used to
offer some perspective. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
We wrestled against the private schools still. Those things weren't divided.
Wow.
So it made it a particularly hard goal. But my coach believed in me. One thing that Coach Fulham said to me that it's always locked in here is he said that you may as well be the first girl to go to the state, and I may as well be your coach. And I'm like, okay,
that's awesome.
Yeah. He would come in at 5:30 in the morning just because I needed to cut. Well, I came out of soccer season at around 116 and I wrestled 103 because 112 boys, their upper body, I just couldn't compete with. So I would come in at 5:30 till 6:30 and run and then go to a 7 a.m. class, but he would come in and do all that with me. But anyways, so yeah, there's that. That was it. I did that.
I did some really cool stuff.
It was fun.
And so after you graduated high school, you went on to wrestle in college.
Well, first, I cheerleaded at MTSU for a year and a half.
Okay.
There was, so to give you a little time frame here, Kenya, the first girls nationals was the year after I graduated high school.
Okay.
And so there was nothing, and the internet was nothing either, right? So I found out about a girl from Riverdale that had gotten a scholarship wrestling, MTSU, there's a bunch of locals. And so I was like, what? And so I found the coach's number, talked to him on Sunday, Coach Mike Muckles, and decided on Tuesday and moved on Saturday. And so then that's when the Missouri Valley.
If I had as much ambition and could be so confident in my decision so quickly as you, there's no telling where I would have been.
I loved wrestling. That was like, that's the heart of it. There just was no options for it afterwards. So, and I, back in the day, there was no, like, the internet wasn't like, oh, I didn't even know this was happening in other parts. Like that there were club teams and they wrestled freestyle, I didn't know. So,
yeah.
I learned.
Kenya. Yeah. See, that's what it was like back then.
I wouldn't know. I didn't want to say it because I didn't know if this was going to feel a certain type of way. But whenever you were talking about wrestling in high school and you said the year, I just want you guys to know that I was not alive.
No, I was like, you probably weren't even born yet.
Well, some of us just graduated college there, so let's we'll tuck that one away too.
Took that one away,
and we transition.
Yeah, exactly. Well, tell us a little bit how. I mean, you're the program over at Blackman, and the girls on your team are. I mean, I don't know if they know, but they are so fortunate to have someone like you who's literally laid the groundwork, right? People, try to tell me that I've helped lay the groundwork, but I'm like, it was all there. Like all I did was show up because of people like you who were like, I know there had to have been barriers and there were people who probably gave you a hard time, but like you showed up to already the hardest sport in the world. I mean, we're both going to agree. No bias. It's just fact, right? Already the hardest sport in the world that was made even more difficult for you. And then you still showed up every single day. And you still, you literally laid the groundwork. So the girls being able to have you as their coach, it's like they've got a legend in their room. I don't know if they know it or not, but I hope they all watch this. You need to tell them to watch this show so they can hear me tell them how fortunate they are. And so how you made it from, you stepped away from wrestling and coaching altogether for a little bit. How did you make your way back to Blackman?
Well, as you know, it was sanctioned in 2015, that season. Several friends that were coaching, like Lee Ramsey over at Siegel, he had started a program there, and he had like a couple girls. So there's been people along the way that had asked me to coach and come and do it. And I just, I don't know, it wasn't the right time, right? And so, and then Ronnie Bray, he called me at the right time, is what I would say. I was having some life stuff with a sick mother and wrestling that was kind of, tormenting me a bit. And like wrestling at the time when he asked, of course, I will say he's like a salesman. He kept hitting it up. Like he kept dialing back in. How you doing today? Think about that? No, it'll be fine. You'll love it, But it was just the right time. And I was like, I needed that homing space where wrestling, you guys can probably understand that as well. It's like your little safe zone. And so I was like, I can go in there, be mindless, help these young people if I can. And then, and here we are. He tricked me. He didn't tell me about the paperwork.
Right? Oh, come on. I don't buy that.
Tell me about track wrestling.
I feel like that's how the best coaches get the best staff, though. They find the best people and then they just stay persistent on what they want. So obviously it worked out for Blackman because they got coaches.
That's it.
Well, now that what year was it that you started coaching that program? Or how long ago?
This is my 5th year. Okay.
And was this, I'm actually ignorant here, so this is a genuine question. Was this your guys' first time winning the region tournament? It was. Okay. Congratulations.
So this season has been a lot of historic moments for our program that might not be big to some other programs if they are to us, right? Because it's all first. But we haven't ever had been able to fill enough weight classes to compete in the regional duels. And so this year we got to compete in the regional duels, which were just like, we can fill up weight classes. And so, and then we got runner up. And so just behind Riverdale, with Chase Hodges over there, who's doing an amazing job. We call it our friendly rivalry.
Those are healthy.
We've been going back and forth this year. And so so we got regional runner up. And then at the individual regionals, we won, but we just barely beat Riverdale. And it was I was exhausted after that day, because it was a lot of like, and when you haven't had a full set, and then I have some great girls this year. You haven't I don't look at the team score, right? Like
you're one match at a time, right?
I've never had to, and so it was never like in a space that was available to us. So towards the end of the tournament, somebody said to me, they're like, "Oh, hey, we're like we're on top, but it's just like barely, and there's still a little bit to go." And I was like, "Wait a minute, we could
win."
Yeah. And so we had a couple of girls that had those hard matches that they're not going to go to state this year. Right. And some of them are the new people, but there's a senior too, and it's hard. And so after we dealt through those emotions, we went straight to, and that's whenever I'd realized in between there that this is a possibility. And I was like, because they have their 5th and 6th place match, and I was trying to find a way to motivate them to like push through, because in life we really have to do that, right? And even when you don't want to, and even though you didn't get what you wanted. And so I was just so proud of some of the girls that I told them, I was like, guys, we need these points. We need you to win these matches. If you can summon it up, just do everything that you can. That's all we can ask. And they did. And it was like a 6-point difference. And so it was cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of them.
Yeah. Before you said I'm really proud, I was about to say, I can see the pride in your face.
Yeah. It's pretty cool to see them. They're good kids.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Well, I'm sure some of it has to do with the fact that they've got a really good coach. So congrats, coach, on you guys winning the region.
That's awesome.
Makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah. I think I'll keep doing it just to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So obviously we know like what's up next on your guys' schedule. But from like a team's perspective, obviously maybe this upcoming weekend, and then even like outside of that, what are kind of your goals for your girls and your girls program over at Blackman?
Right now we're just doing our best to prepare for state, and we've got a couple of girls that have been before, and we got a couple that haven't. And so just trying to mentally prepare them for walking in the building, how it feels, all the mats, all the people, and all the, I remember when I went to the state tournament, like you feel like everybody's like on you, and you're just like, which they were for my first match.
Absolutely.
that's a different issue. They won't get that kind of paparazzi, but but what's it going to feel like? What's it going to smell like? All that stuff. And just talking about what we talked about walking into the regionals is just putting in our best efforts ahead of time, working on things that we see are deficits. And no matter what happens during your day, during your match, during the tournament, if you get you're in a match and you get down and they go wild, not to lose our minds and keep driving, right? And the same thing, if you have a hard loss and that pushes you over the consolation bracket, just keep the train running, right? You've worked too hard to not do your best, right? And that's all I want from them, is just I want them to have their best days.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And moving forward, I want to keep growing. So this was the first year I have an amazing assistant coach, Ashley Boss, who stepped in. She's whatever they call the female jiu-jitsu people.
Okay.
There's a name for it. And but she's very strong-minded. Her son wrestles, and she has been a big benefit to us. And like she did whenever I'm out of state for a couple of months in the summer, she came in and did preseason stuff for us. And then we're building relationships and with different people. I also have a Coach DeAsia that's been coming in and helping, but it's been critical. Like it feels like, it's all like coming together.
Yeah.
And so I just want to keep working more of our summer work, trying to get into working towards moving into where we go to bigger tournaments, right? When we have girls that are capable, I want to let's start moving out, right? And go to the bigger tournaments and be seen. But yeah, I just really want, truthfully, I tell the coaches in our region, I'm like, I want to make our region stronger, but ultimately I want Tennessee girls to be strong. And I want with these national tournaments, for them to look at their bracket and be like, oh, dang, I've got a girl from Tennessee. Do you know her? You know, like, and be fearful, you know, in a happy, not mean way.
I like it.
I just love
mean way is fine.
I want to just keep growing, you know. I want our state, like, it's amazing, the numbers.
I think Hatch and I can get behind those goals too. Those are pretty solid.
Yeah.
Well,
and as state chairman, I appreciate both you two volunteering to be on our national team coaching staff next year. All right, there we go.
There you go.
I can help.
There we go.
Well,
I can help. I need a little timeline, some more info though. I don't want to be tricky.
We will supply that to both of you.
That's awesome. Well, Coach, I could tell that all the girls on your team like are getting just the best of the best when it comes to at least like mindset training and the things that you're talking to me about now and the things that you're like helping them to walk through. But could you offer some advice to maybe any other female wrestler in our state who's watching this podcast, who maybe wants to wrestle in college, which is something you've done, or maybe who just wants, to be a successful wrestler when the odds are still, in some cases, kind of against them? What advice would you offer?
Mat time. Just get, well, for a very beginner, right? Like, you just got to get in there. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt your feelings. It's going to hurt your body a little bit. But just to keep at it, right? It's something I tell my girls all the time is don't let your, don't let your brain talk your body out of what it's capable of, right?
I like that.
So you have to push that threshold, right? And this has helped me in life. And that's what I want them to have, that for that reason. But get into multiple rooms, learn from multiple people, right? I would also say that now things that with this evolution of all this, get into some freestyle on the side. I think freestyle helped my folk style, right? And then if you're once you start getting better and stuff, and for the ones that it doesn't click immediately, it doesn't mean it won't click at some point. Mm-hmm. You just got to keep working at it, right? There's some people that'll come in their first year and just fire it up and like kill it. But then there's other ones that are struggling a lot more. There's a lot more tears shed. There's a lot more like, almost like panic attacks about it, right? Because they're not used to being rolled around like that. Yeah. But what I would say from there is try to focus on when you're outside of your high school stuff, get into the club stuff, do as much freestyle as you can, and then start branching out to tournaments. And if you really want to be seen by those college coaches, go to the big tournaments where they're at. Also try to go to their camps so they can see you, right? Even if you're not there yet, if you're a freshman this year, go to some programs camp that you admire, those coaches talk too. It might not be that place that you get to go, but it may be somewhere else. They'll be like, I can't take this kid, but she's got a lot of heart, and like, I can really see where you could work her better, Yeah. So, there's a lot of possibilities. I think there's over 170 college women's programs now.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. And in Tennessee right now, I was talking to Joe Blair the other day. Last season's numbers for Tennessee girls were just right under 800. And this year we're just under 900.
Wow.
There you go. Let's add 100 a year. That sounds awesome.
And so the first year, because I'm on an advisory board. The first year there were 166 girls, and then it's just kept bumping up. And then there's like a big leap in 21, 22. Of course, COVID was a little hard, but that is so awesome.
That's so awesome.
I'm so happy for all the opportunities that people are getting, and we have these, like our Blackman middle school and Blackman wrestling club, like these little nuggets are coming in and they're so cute and feisty and like, I love it, little tomboys. And we've got like 8 of the girls. I think they took 14 this weekend to their regionals, and 8 of them are champions. And it's just fun to like, and it's not just happening here. Yeah. So I don't know. It's really, makes me really happy.
It is. It's so cool to see it. It's cool for me to look back and see how much it's grown. I'm sure that's like multiplied by 1,000 for you. But thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for the advice that you gave us. You heard it from Coach Jones herself. She said, get some mat time and put yourself out there, and good things are going to happen, pretty much, right?
Good.
Yeah, and push yourself harder than you think you can.
And push yourself harder. That's good.
Love it.
Thank you so much for joining us, Coach. Don't worry.
Thanks for having me.
I'm sending your number to Hatch so he can get those details to you about national team this summer.
That's it.
Too late. You already said it. You signed up. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congrats again to you and your team for this past weekend.
Good luck, guys. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
All right.
Man, she's killing it over there.
She's killing it over there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's crazy that she's like the first state qualifier in the boys for being a girl state qualifier in the boys division. That's awesome.
It is awesome.
It's awesome. That's awesome. It's not awesome that she brought up my age. That's cool. That I was getting old.
Just forget your age. You brought it.
Well, I mean, she starts talking. Well, back when I'm like, wait a second here. Hold on. That back when. Back when. Yeah, come on. No, that's awesome. Yeah, she's killing it there. How about Ronnie Bray getting her involved? That's awesome. Good for her.
Yeah, it is super cool. Well, you got a lot of results to dive in on the boys' side too.
You know,
So
we had a lot of results, and thank goodness I have a Filipino mother and I talk really fast. So
yeah, faster than me.
So people are going to have to they probably have to slow they probably do the settings.
Do the 0.5.
Yeah, they usually go they have to slow it down to like 0.5 or 0.75, normally. But now they might have to slow it down even more because I got to fly through these things because we got two more awesome guests.
Yeah.
That's the way we roll here, Shoot. Okay. Anyway, here we go. Let's go. Sectionals last weekend. Big, obviously big weekend on the boys' side. Had a ton of going on. Let's start with the Class A's, Section 1. Pigeon Forge champions. I'm just going to go by team champions. We didn't get enough time for the individuals. We had a lot of them, obviously, and I want to go through the D2 states. So Pigeon Forge edged Seymour up in Section 1 in Class A. Saudi Daisy distanced himself pretty good from Single Mountain, who got second in Section 2. Class A Section 3 was Station Camp. They got the best of Tullahoma, who won their regionals the week before. So congrats there to Station Camp. And you know what? Here's the deal. When I mess up, Kenya, I always, try to correct it. And so I'm going to give a big shout out. I've been waiting to do this to Millington Central. Their coach, Michael, and I hope I don't mess this pronunciation out, but Iannaco. I think that's it. I hope so. Anyway, wrote me a great message, but he loves our podcast and big fan. But so last week when I was doing the regional results, I just typed in TWSAA and put in the Saturday, and I figured I got them all. And there was only 7 regions that I reported of the 8, and I just figured, okay, maybe there's only 7 regions. Yeah. And they wrestled their region on Thursday night, so that's why I didn't pull up on my search. So I totally left out region 7. Region 8 the weekend before, or last week's podcast, which Millington Central, which is his team. They actually listen to the podcast quite often, so we really appreciate all their support and everything. Yeah. But I left them out.
Oh no!
They won their regions the weekend before, and his kids were like, "Coach, what's the deal? What's the deal?" So so they actually had a clean sweep this season, winning the district regional duels titles. They won the individual region, the one that I left out, by 50 points. And they said they plan on bringing the section title back to Millington this weekend, which they did.
That's
so
awesome.
There we go.
Yes.
Millington, Coach Iannaco and his group right there, Millington Central. They're a very, very new program. So congratulations to you guys. My apologies. Totally, like I said, totally spaced that as far as there being 8 regions. But last week, but hope I made it up for it there. But great job out there. But they won, beat Chieftain County Central, who was second place in that Section 4 Class A. So great job out there, guys. Great job. And actually, it was funny because he actually said, I think it kind of motivated him a lot because they were like, wait. They weren't just like, whatever. They were like, wait a second, they left us out. So now they were coming back for vengeance last week.
We'll make sure that we're not.
So we ain't leaving them out. We ain't leaving us out next week.
That's awesome.
My apologies to the rest of the Section 4 field, because I probably helped motivate that Millington Central team even more because of my screw up. So my bad, but congrats to Millington Central on that long-winded result there. But hey, you know what? Very, very deserving. And I gave him last week's praise on top of that. So
there you go.
There we go. You got it. Class AA. Let's get in that. Dobbins Bennett in Section 1. They won that one. Real close one. 4 points over Knox Halls. So great, congrats to Dobbins Bennett there. Cleveland pretty decisively over Blackman. I mean, obviously Cleveland's got to be the team to beat next weekend and this weekend, should say, in the state tournament. And you know what? Our boy Johnny Melzoni, we had on last week. Sometimes there's a curse. You have something like the Sports Illustrated cover curse. You know, when they come on the cover, then all of a sudden they blow the Super Bowl, or you're on this and you get all this shine, and then the next week they don't perform very well. Not in Johnny Melzoni and Nolansville's world. They won last weekend too, in the toughest, in what I would consider the toughest sectional in Class AA. They were first. Summit was second. Brentwood was third. Again, those 3 teams I think could wrestle each week, and who knows who's going to win. 3 really good squads. So looking forward to seeing what's going on there this weekend. And then Houston out west took home the title there, Section 4. Beat Arlington, who was second. Collierville was third. So congrats to all those sectional champs and everybody moving forward here this weekend at the state tournament. So there was another tournament going on, pretty big one. Division II state championships, like I alluded to earlier, with at NBA with multiple, I mean, just a lot of talent. And it's always very, very hotly contested, this state tournament, because obviously the size of the tournament matters too. But honestly, right now, I mean, just like, man, this private school division, I'm telling you right now, some of these brackets were crazy loaded. This is the time right now, I think, in Tennessee wrestling where it's almost like, man, it would be so cool to have just one state championship and just watch all these kids just see, just see how it works out, how it pans out. But Macaulay School came away with their first state championship in a while and took it from Baylor. Baylor was second, Father Ryan third, Christian Brothers fourth. Lakeway Christian Academy was rounded out the top 5. So it was, like I said, it was a great tournament. I enjoyed myself. I was there all weekend. But yeah, here, let me get into final results here, and I'll just go and I'll just tell the state champs some notable maybe finals matches and stuff. But at 106, 8th grader Jackson Lane took out Tanner Tran, Father Ryan in the finals there at 106. 113, Jacob Bond repeated again, another state title for Baylor School. He beat Nolan Hardman of Boyd Buchanan in that final match. At 120, Father Ryan's Joseph Calvin beat Bo Dominguez of Brentwood Academy at 120 for the state title. 126, Brody Gobble. Oh, shout out to that guy. Tell you what, got a state title this weekend. Congratulations to him. Beat Ollie Phillips in the finals there from Baylor. 132, Casen Roark got number 3 in what I thought was just a crazy tough bracket. And we'll kind of go through that a little bit here in a bit. But he had a big win. He looked fantastic doing it against defending state champ, also Spencer Reap from Lakeway Christian Academy. 138 was Ethan Lambert of Father Ryan, beat Malachi Puckett from Baylor in the finals. 144, Titus Norman of Baylor beat Tyson Walcott of Friendship Christian School. At 150, Chancery Dean, also Father Ryan, beat Connor Payne of Boyd Buchanan in the finals. 157, Hunter Sturgill got his 3rd state title, beat AJ Johnson of Boyd Buchanan. 165, Max Norman got another state championship. I believe this is his 3rd also. Beat James Cross of Macaulay School in the finals. 175, Drake Bowers, is his two-timer now. Shout out to my boy Drake. Congratulations, buddy. Beat another one of my favorites too in the finals. Caden Bates, Boyd Buchanan, great kid right there. Bowers looked great all tournament, and congratulations to him. Repeat state champ, 175. 190, Jay Eversole. Congrats to Jay. He beat Javon McMahon from Macaulay School. Jay Eversole, of course, from Lakeway at 190, state champ. 215 was Ryder Smith from Chattanooga Christian School. Beat Cooper General of Macaulay in the finals at 215, and rounding it out for the night at 285, Carson General from Macaulay beat Bobby Council from FRA, Franklin Road Academy here in Middle Tennessee to get that heavyweight state championship. So a lot of really great wrestling. And now goes my transition. I'm going to transition into our next guest right here. There we go. It's getting better, huh? Getting better.
We're getting
We're getting better. This guy's been waiting in the waiting room all night long. Look at
hanging out for the party.
Tell you what, here, this is going to be my intro for this guy. Because this is your first time. Casen Roark, Kenya Sloan. Sloan, Casen Roark.
Nice to meet you.
So, okay, so this is my intro. Now, okay, so he's a 3-time state champ, whatever. That's so back in the day when Coach Gable, when I wrestled in Iowa, we used to have a 118-pounder. His name was Jesse Whitmer. All right. And so Jesse Whitmer was a JV wrestler for the first 4 years of his time at Iowa. And then his senior year, because he was behind Mike Mena the whole time we were there. So his senior year, Mena moved up to what at the time, well, actually, yeah, it would have been because he was 18. He moved up to 26. So Whitmer finally got a chance to be the varsity guy at Iowa, ended up winning a national championship, first time in varsity. So, and Jesse Whitmer was like 5 foot tall, but I mean, jacked and just strong as, I mean, yeah. So when he you probably seen this at some point in time, watching old wrestling videos, Casen. So Coach, as soon as he won the national championship, Coach Gable was like, he's like raising his hand. He's the strongest man in the world, strongest guy, strongest man in the world. Now, with that being said, I'd like to introduce you to the new strongest guy in the world, Casen Roark, right here.
What an intro.
Right here is probably the most muscular, one of the strongest high school wrestlers, pound for pound, I have ever seen in my 30 years. I'm going to throw that out there.
You're going to flex for us, Casen?
Thank you.
You don't need to. All you got to do it. I think you just Google like strongest high school wrestler in the United States.
Yeah.
I think Casen pops up.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. If you Google like strongest high school wrestler in the world, then you might pull off some Russians and Iranians.
Yeah.
With that being said, Casen, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
Awesome, man. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Congratulations, number 3.
Thank you. Yeah.
How'd it feel?
I mean, that one was a good one.
I bet.
That was a really good one.
I bet. Why was that? Now, we'll give us a little bit of background. So I'm going to let Casen kind of go. He's had a rough go at it these last 2 years, believe it or not. I mean, from a physical, I mean, yeah.
They ended up okay.
Oh yeah, I mean, so it's pretty crazy. But he actually, the one that he, so getting back to this 32-pound bracket that I was alluding to. I mean, I'm telling you right now, third place was Dylan Villers, who we had on the podcast for 8th grader, national champ, national freestyle champ last summer, third place in this bracket. Wow. So then we had 2 defending state champs, Casen and Spencer Reap, that were on a collision course to meet in the finals. And I mean, and it had every billing of it. And actually Spencer beat Casen at the beginning of the year. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. He beat me at the Johnny Drennan that we hosted back in, what was that, December, I think?
Mm-hmm.
So, January.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had the choice of either staying at 32 or bumping up, which I wrestled Puckett at I wrestled him a couple of times and beat him. So, I mean, I could have bumped up, but I wanted to get back. So, that was a fluke. So,
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, from a spectator standpoint, we need more like that. We need more thinking like that, honestly, because honestly, this has just been my perception since I've been in the state for almost 15 years. But a lot of times we see that. We said, well, so-and-so is going to go at 132. So-and-so is going to go here. I'll just go here and we can all 3 win it. No. Last weekend, seriously, was probably, I was super excited to just watch the 132 bracket. I mean, I wanted to see all the other ones, but this one, I mean, I was like, dang, Roark's there, Reap's there, Villers is there. I'm not missing that. I'm watching this. And,
I mean, it was a fun bracket.
I know. But here's the thing: not only did Casen win, but I mean, you basically handled it. I mean, it wasn't there really wasn't a close match there the weekend. I mean,
really?
the finals match was, Spencer kind of, he started wrestling hard at the end, and it was obviously heated. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think he controlled the match pretty well. You think?
I mean, yeah, I came in with the game plan of trying to control it, because last time we wrestled, he likes to be on the attack. So I mean, we were trying to control the match.
Yeah.
So, and the game plan worked. So.
The game plan worked really well, and he stuck really well with it. Stuck to it really well. So I mean, 3 state titles and not going and because I've seen it in the past. I've seen some kids like want to protect, well, I want to be a 3-time run, maybe 2 I want to be this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they kind of, get themselves in a position where they're obviously the well-known favorite, but not you. You put yourself in there like, no, I'm going to wrestle this kid. He beat me at the beginning of the year and I'm going to win it here. So
that's the mindset always.
Right? I love it. Well, with that being said though, Kenyon, you could kind of relate. So basically Casen, take us through. So Casen won as a freshman. Okay.
Right.
I mean, totally healthy, 100% healthy, had a great freshman year. And then what happened?
And so it was right after wrestling season. I went to football. First game, tore the ACL in my right leg. Had to have surgery. Then they told me I was probably going to be out like 8 to 12 months, so almost the whole year. And then we just rehabbed day after day and come back 6 months and wrestled regions for their dual regions. And then that was the first match back, and then just wrestled all throughout.
Yep. Then won state title.
Yeah.
And then what happened, Casen?
and then we go to, after all the season's over, we go to NHSCA for that. And first match, I tear my LCL, my other leg, and wrestled all throughout the tournament. Ended up not placing, but right before placing, and then we went back, got an MRI, and they said it completely tore LCL. So we had to have surgery on that, and then back to rehab. And then luckily I was back at the start of the season, so it wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
But,
that sophomore year had to be a little bit difficult, just getting right back in the thick of it.
Which
got duels, and then all of a sudden you got regions, and then that's it.
Right.
Here we go.
Right, which the ACL was way worse than the LCL. The LCL wasn't as bad comparing it to the ACL, which I guess they took out once they had the surgery on the ACL, they took a lot of muscle out of that. So it was just rebuilding muscle in that right leg the whole time. So
wow. Yeah. So then fast forward now he's 3-time state champ, and you know what?
It's like a little bit of a hiccup here, a little bit of a hiccup there, but I had business to take care of. So, you know.
I should let you two talk. Kenya had the same type of thing, almost like thing with her knees. I'm just sitting here. When I was hearing her story when I first met her in a podcast, I had her on a podcast. She won a national championship, and she was talking to me about like this happened, and then this happened with the knee, and then this happened, and I'm just like, geez, wow.
Yeah. No,
I'm
feeling you.
You two are way tougher than I am, because I would have said, see ya.
Yeah. You think about, right, Casen? There's probably a few times where you were like, I don't know if I want it. Like, this is hard.
Yeah. There's tons of times where it was like, there was that point where you're like, is it really, like, this is hard.
Yeah. So after like your injury, like, did you come back when your first injury? Did you come back into the season saying, I know I haven't wrestled this whole season, but I'm going to win a state championship? Or were you just like, I'm just going to wrestle and see what happens?
Which I really wanted to come back for duels because I knew we had a chance to win it that year. And which I think if I wouldn't have come back, I don't think we would have won. And that, and then I really wanted that state title.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Listen, man, you get the sport for a reason,
Which,
for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, the Coach Vince and all the coaches that followed on, they were by my side. They were pushing me. So
yeah, well, you guys got a great staff there, and you guys do a great job, and just a great group of kids, and Casen and his family. I mean, I've known him for for quite a while here, ever since being back from Tennessee for sure, and just great people, and I couldn't be happier for a kid like that. He's a great kid, and we appreciate him and appreciate him representing Tennessee. That's for sure.
Thank you.
What you're going to do this weekend, though, right? That's the next event. Prep Nationals this weekend.
Next thing up. Next thing, cross off the list.
Yep. How you feeling for this weekend?
I'm stoked. I mean, I'm just coming at clear mind. I mean, I've wrestled just about almost everybody in the bracket, so I mean, I know how they wrestle everything. So I've been there. I need to finally take this one.
That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Well, like I said, my money's on you, my man.
Thank you.
On you for sure. So, you got anything else for my man Casen here?
No, Casen, congrats on this past weekend. Good luck next
Thank
weekend.
you.
I mean, all these
Thank
wins so much more whenever you've had to persevere through so much to get it. So congratulations. It's well deserved. We're proud of you.
Thank you.
This dude's crazy strong, but man, he is crazy tough. There ain't no question there.
Has to be.
I get college coaches asking me about him all the time, you know, and I'm like, yeah, you're crazy. Don't get on him. I'd get right on him if I were you. multiple coaches. So tell you what, man, he's total package. Great kid, no question.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, my man. Well, cool. You got anything else for us?
I mean, that's it. That's all I'm getting.
That's it. All right. Well, cool, buddy. Best of luck this weekend. And I'm sure I will see you here coming up in the next couple months with freestyle and record stuff coming up. All right. Yes, tell your family I said hi, buddy. I appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. See you, buddy. Yeah, he's a great kid. I'm telling you, he's tough, man. And not only is he, I mean, I'm telling you, the first time I saw that little dude, I think at Fargo when I came back, and I was like, what in the world? Jesus, that kid, what is this? So, but nicest kid though. I mean, the nicest.
Oh,
kid.
You can tell.
He's a bruiser though. He could be really good. I'm really excited, you know, for, like I said, he's got 3 state titles under his belt now. And now moving forward, obviously, you know, he's a national level wrestler. He goes to all the different stuff, and just seeing him healthy, I'm telling you, seeing him healthy now for a whole calendar year up until, you know, when he closes out this senior year, man, it's scary. Scary. Yeah, he's gonna be good. He's scary good. Yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of colleges, you know, shoot, I mean, listen, we ain't stopping in high school tonight. I mean, we got
stop with the transition.
No, listen, we got we got it all going on here in Tennessee. We don't only have just, you know, we don't have just great high school wrestling. We got, you know, great everything. That's just the way it works, you know, here. So we have another very, very special guest this week. I actually had him on the very first podcast I had. So
the very first podcast?
Well, the one that you were on, Kenya. Yes, the one you were on.
Oh, I thought you meant very first.
We haven't had him on yet. I mean, on the new the new improved one with the new and improved co-host. We had the original like cheesy version with myself, but I'm going to get him here on the stage right now, and I'll kind of introduce him and see and tell everybody what was going on and what happened with this program this past week, and we'll let him chop it up a little bit. But this is Coach James Hicks. There he is.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Hey, not much. Long time no see, huh?
Yes, sir.
Listen, you don't see a lot of college coaches these days, Kenya, at kids tournaments.
No.
I saw this guy on Sunday.
Yeah.
Down the street, and you know what? He shows up over to Wilson Central for the kids tournaments, and I'm telling you right now, that's when you know things are getting done right there.
Right, for sure.
Got to make yourself visible. And so I tell you what, Coach Hicks right here, Cumberland University head coach, had a big week. What a week is it? Weekend before? Yeah, because you were off.
It was this past weekend. Yeah.
That's okay. Yep. So in there, I just lost it. There it is. Okay, cool. The Mid-South Conference Tournament Championship. Okay, won it again. Team won it again, and it's dominating fashion.
Thank you.
And Coach Hicks correct me if I'm wrong, second year in a row, correct? Coach of the year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There we go. They're heading on to nationals right there. And I said, you know what, we're going to have this guy back in the podcast, man. He's
right, for sure.
So congratulations.
Appreciate you having me on.
Upper Sidor.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me on. Like, it's always a good time, good conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah, you do know Kenya?
No.
Coach no, never met.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Podcast is so much better, not just because of the StreamYard thing we have here, but we also I got a co-host that's a lot smarter than I am.
Oh, okay.
And a lot more enjoyable to talk to. So
right.
But yeah, tell us a little bit about the conference tournament, Coach, and what was going on with the Cumberland team and what you guys got going on here coming up soon. Pretty big tournament here soon.
Yeah, it was a great experience. That's kind of what we preach here. Just, go out, have fun, have a great experience, enjoy your time in college, and enjoy doing what you always wanted to do. So, things like winning a conference tournament. Yeah, I feel like we've been underrated all year. Things tend to be that way. I don't know if it's because, we're a Southern team. Some people just still don't respect Southern wrestling or whatever.
Of course.
But, we beat up everybody in the regular season in the dual meet. The dual meet season. We won all the duels. We won the regular season championship. And we went to the postseason, the tournament, and it was I didn't think the seeding mini went well for us. We had some tough draws, and I feel like other teams had better draws and better earlier matches. But, our guys just stepped up and won anyway. So that's the type of team we have and the type of guys we have. So they expected to win, and I was all nervous. Every time I get nervous, they just go out there and kill it. So hopefully we can keep that going for this next weekend.
That's awesome. Now, so next weekend where's the Nationals at?
We're in Wichita, Kansas.
That's right.
So we're out there for 3 days, next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're running a few teams that are taking, 11, 12 guys. So we qualified 11 guys for the tournament out of 12. So, we got most of our horses in the race. Our last guy's an alternate. So we got enough guys to do some damage this year. So I'm very excited about, what we have the potential to do this season for sure.
No, that's awesome. Well, I tell you what, I mean, you've been doing, I mean, ever since you got there, I mean, it's just, and a lot of it, I mean, not only are you a great coach, but it's been your consistency. That's the one biggest thing I think that you brought to the table since you had that program. There was a really, really big turnover rate when I was here the first time in Tennessee.
Right.
It just seemed to be like there was a different coach of that program, this year, and then a couple of years later down the road, a new one.
Yeah.
In there and really put your feet in there and really put a foundation in. And now not only are you just doing a fantastic job of developing that Cumberland program, but also that whole area out there in like what I would call like East Middle Tennessee area.
Right.
You're offering, I mean, so Kenya, coach is not only obviously the college coach as well, but also, started like, at a club or an extra training type of satellite center out there for, the high school and little kids.
Yeah.
And schools, they just come out there and train extra at his college. And I'm telling you, that's huge for just Tennessee in general, but also probably doesn't hurt for the Cumberland brand either.
Right, for sure. I go to that tournament or, a kids tournament and, I get the kids shirts and stuff. So, they're wearing the shirts, they love it. I was at that tournament this weekend.
Yeah.
They're all running up to me. It was pretty cool to see them compete. I never get to see them. I just kind of train them. Yeah. And it was pretty cool to see them compete this weekend and go out there and get after it. So, I mean, we try to put our footprint in the wrestling community. I know we're a college, but, you see a need, it's wrestling, wrestling's wrestling, and try to fill a need for the community, Middle Tennessee area. Saw a dire need for just some higher level training, so, I was asked to do it. So, we jumped in there with 2 feet and it's been a blast, man. I get the kids coming in right after the college guys. The college guys might get on my nerve and the little kids come in there and they chew me. It's a whole different mood. I yelled at the college guys. The kids come trickling in, right after that, running around the room playing. So it can't help but get you in a better mood and get you ready to coach a whole different level of athlete. It helps you keep perspective on the fundamentals and the basics. The college guys could get kind of flashy and some of the stuff. They think they got it all figured out. I'm in there yelling, my kids do this better. My kids do better than this. So it's cool dynamic. We do all ages. I'll do the little elementary kids and the middle school. We don't have many high schoolers, but I'm definitely content with the little guys. They're a lot of fun to work with for sure.
Yeah, and plus that you're building a fan base out there. I mean, because you're in Lebanon. I mean, in Lebanon, I'll tell you right now, it's one of the most expansive areas you can kind of say. I mean, people are. I mean,
it's growing.
It's like the next area out here in Middle Tennessee. That's going to really hit. So you're going to be having you got people moving in there, and club out there, and that just puts more fans in the seats. To watch the kids. When they got home duels. So
you're definitely right. As soon as when we started this and we started getting good numbers and stuff, then our duels we have a lot more fans at the duels. They're a lot more fun. So the guys love it. It's just a good thing all around for the program and for the wrestling community in this area for sure.
Absolutely. No, and I love it, obviously, because obviously I'm here in Middle Tennessee now, so so again, like I told Coach Jones, listen, no, nothing against my Chattanooga friends and stuff, but Sorry, man. I don't live in Chattanooga anymore.
We locked you in.
Well, I want to win here too, you know. So,
Yeah.
and I think it's great. I think it's awesome. Just just because I mean, we've traditionally here in Middle Tennessee, there's been certain areas you could probably almost like look at the Brentwood area and like the Murfreesboro area, and like now it's in Summit came in through with Spring Hill. That whole like I guess section and region right there is nice. If you're looking at traditional, I guess Middle Tennessee powerhouses, with the exception of Father Ryan. You're kind of looking at that. But now, if we could continue to develop all over, like Clarksville is doing a fantastic job with all their kids club and all their supplemental club type of, training stuff up there between Iron Knights and between what Clarksville Wrestling Club and Pennington have going there. And now we start doing something what you're doing all the way on that east side.
Right. Yeah.
An area right there that can attract the Cookeville people and the East Nashville people.
Exactly.
That's just awesome, man. And then I guess Mount Juliet, you would have some people that reside in that area come over to you.
Yeah. Yeah, we get a lot of the Cookville's we get a good number of Cookville and that Murfreesboro area. We get a lot of kids from there.
It's not too bad right there. They just zing up the side.
Right. It's not, especially it depends on where you live. It's about 30 minutes, so we get some kids from there, and then of course the kids from Wildcats, the kids right here in Lebanon, we get a good number of those guys. So it's definitely taken off, and the guys are helping, and it's like a part of our program at this point, so the guys love it. I love it. It's a good thing for us, and just happy to help out the community for sure.
No, that's great. That's great. So moving forward now, obviously we got nationals. You're looking at making a footprint there. Well, I guess one of the questions that I'm always getting, from a lot of different periods, whether it be coaches, athletes, parents, or whatever the case may be, is the kind of, what to expect, like maybe during a recruiting process. A lot of people, there's a lot of opportunities out there. Everybody thinks that the only opportunities out there are, like Division I wrestling opportunities.
Right.
And I'm like, listen, there's a ton of great options out there.
Right.
It doesn't have to be at the Division I level.
Right.
NAIA, break it down for us, like as far as like, I guess what you would be looking at as far as what type of student athlete, I should say, that you're looking for your program, and kind of how the recruiting works at that level.
Yeah, we're just like what everybody say, we're looking for the well-rounded athlete, the good students, so it's particularly our university. You kind of have to be a good student to be successful. We take chances on a few guys. I have like a percentage of guys I recruit that's like under a 2.5. I'll keep that to a certain percentage. But for the most part, we're getting like kids that are, at least over 3.0, 3.2, 3.5s. And about half of our team is like 27s in an ACT or up. Like we get those kind of students in, and that's kind of our formula for recruiting. I keep if you're under that, we'll take a risk if some other things are in order. But I feel like that's what fits our program, the well-rounded athlete. And it's been working well for us. And then we also go after quite a few transfers. We'll go to junior college. We got about 3 Division I guys that came down from Division I. We've got some guys that transferred in from D2 schools. So we'll just kind of throw a mix in there. We'll get some really good freshmen. We try to get the best guys we can out of state that aren't going Division I, out of Tennessee. So those guys are top priority for us, the guys that aren't going D1 that are doing well in state. And then, it's kind of like those guys that are in that 27 plus range on the ACT. Those guys we go after those guys pretty hard. And then, if you're proven at a college level, whether it be junior college or Division I or Division II, and you're looking for a new home and it's a good fit, and that's kind of our third piece to the puzzle. It's been working for us. I remember back in the day when I first started coaching, or even when I first got here, our turnover was just crazy. Yeah. But now with that formula, we kind of have a good enough culture where we're not really losing many kids. Like, and you know how tough college wrestling can be, even at Division I level. Like, you're gonna lose kids, and we're not really losing hardly any kids. Like, we may lose 1 or 2 kids a year, and we have 45 kids on the roster. Wow. So it's. I never really seen it how it's going right now, and I never thought you can lose so few kids in college wrestling. Because when I wrestled, or As long as I've been coaching, you probably lose half the freshman class that first year, but hasn't been the case for us the past like 3 or 4 years. So, and that's been working well, allowing us to develop some athletes.
And that's awesome too, because I mean, I'm telling you, recruiting, I mean, it's such a crapshoot. It is such a crapshoot on both sides. On both sides, you know, because I mean, honestly, I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, a 17, 18-year-old kid doesn't really know what he wants anyway.
Right. Exactly.
So you think, oh my God, I want to go. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to wrestle at this college. And all of a sudden, the chore of going to school, going to class, and wrestling in college smacks them in the mouth, and they're not quite. They're like, okay, maybe I don't want this. And but it's the same thing on the coaching side. When I was recruiting, in the colleges I coached at, we thought, oh, this kid he's a can't miss kid. He's going to end up year and a half later. See ya.
That's the worst. Man, I got burned so many times there, man. You just feel like, oh man, this kid's gonna be a stud, and then December rolls around. He's like, just walks in the office one day, like, Coach, I want to go. I think I'm going home. What?
Yeah, I know.
It's just. I mean, I have so many stories coming off of kids doing great. You think he's doing great, and then he just walks in there and like, Coach, I think I'm going home. Like, where's like, you know what I mean? It's just crazy.
It is such a crapshoot. I'm telling you, it is.
Yeah.
I just think you got it. But with your retention rate, I mean, that means you guys got to. I think it's just important. Just make sure you have a system down. You know what you're recruiting.
Right.
You know what fits your culture. You know what fits your team. You've got. First of all, you got a great culture established. I mean, that's without question. I mean, that's something I 100% noticed since you taking over the program. You have an established culture. And then you just figure out what fits best your culture, and that's probably why your retention rate's so high. Yeah.
At this point, it's like just don't mess it up, man. Don't I even tell the guys, they're so self-motivated. This group, it's like, man, I'll show up some days to practice, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get out of you guys' way today. If you need me, I'll be walking around. I'll put hour 15 on the clock. Just get to work. I'll get out of your way. And they get to work, man. So it's like, they're a very fun group to coach, man. And I'm happy. That's when
you know you got it licked right there. That's when you know you got. Because seriously, I mean, people ask me all the time. They ask me what it was like to wrestle at Iowa under Gable for I was out there for 4.5 years. And they're like, "What was his practices like? What was his practices like?" And I'm just sitting here thinking, you're going to be shocked when I tell you, honestly. Really, we were like on our quote unquote on our own for like 4 or 5 days a week. It was just like, okay, you get done talking to us, and all right, it's 3:30, 4:30. I'm taking over. I'll take over. Guys, go ahead and get after it. And it would be 40 competitive guys beating each other, and he'd be sitting in the stands. Hey, Hatcher, get off your back. That would be like his extent of coaching before he grabbed the hold of me and beat me up for like 20 minutes. But then we'd be talking to like one of our boosters. But then he'll walk around. You do walk around and help the situations. But that was just the culture that was established, and it sounds that's exactly what you have there, and it's awesome to hear that.
Right, for sure. Awesome. Your younger years, you want to control everything, and you learn as you go.
You have to.
You're right. It depends on the team. Yeah, for sure. So. But these guys are locked and loaded, and they're, they do what they need to do. They don't need me much. When they need me, I'm helping, but they get after it for sure.
Man, that's awesome. Well, you had a coach. You had a career at Campbellsville as well.
Yeah, I was there for 4 years. Right out of college. That was my first stop, and I was there for 4 years. That's why started out, and that was a great experience too. I love those guys. I still talk to those guys to this day, for just giving me the opportunity to coach them and trusting me. So, and I was super young. So, you know how that could be when you're young trying to coach, probably like 24. And the guys that did buy in and listen to me, like, I appreciate those guys to this day. They gave me a lot of confidence, to continue doing this. Cause this wasn't my plan. I just kind of fell into it, so, I just talked to I'm still talking to them to this day, all those guys from those teams. So, that was a blessing. That was definitely a blessing in my time there for sure.
Kenny, you got anything to throw in there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you good friend Frankie James?
Yeah, Frankie. Yeah, that's my guy.
Okay, it's your transition here, Kenya.
Yeah.
I graduated. I wrestled at CU. That's probably why I had to put that little plug in there.
Okay. Yeah. With Coach Miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We bumped heads one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenny is national champ for him.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I was saying Coach Miracle and we bumped heads one time. I was visiting or something. I brought my team up, and I was in his parking spot. Or something. I was parked wrong or something. He yelled at me.
It's not much of a yeah. He probably had a coffee in his hand like this, and he was like, "Hey, is that yours?" And you're like, and he was like, "Yeah, I need you to move that." So probably how.
He talked. It was something smart. Yeah.
Yeah. Always. Takes those parking spots pretty serious.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you how Coach Hicks and I crossed paths.
Okay.
Our first time we crossed paths was the podcast, the very first one before we brought you on. But he didn't even know until we did the podcast, and I kind of put 2 and 2 together. And I was like, because we talk about where he's from and what brought it up. So he's from Belle Glade. He's from Glade Central, Belle Glade. So he wrestled there in the early 2000s. Well, it just so happened that I was one of the coaches at Martin. I was the coach at Martin County High School, which is north of Belle Glade, which is just north of the Glades, Glade Central. And so at that time, and he could tell you even more, but I didn't really know what big time Florida football and South football was. And so one of the people like in my area, which was Martin County, was sailfish capital of the world, a bunch of rich kids, not even close to the athletes that he had done there. So he's like, oh yeah. One of the guys was like, oh yeah, Belle Glade, shoot, I think they got like 15 guys, signed Division I on the football team this year. And I'm like, my goodness, they got a wrestling team. Yeah, but there's only a couple kids on it, but they're pretty good athletes. So I remember being at a tournament and Coach Hicks was wrestling. I was like, dang, that little dude's tough. Dang, where's he from? Yeah. Oh, the Belle Glade kid. He's from Glade Central. I was like, oh, shoot. I said, damn, that little dude's tough. So this was way back when I was coaching high school. And then full circle, I had him on the podcast. And I'm sitting here, wait a second. Oh, wait. And I started going, I'm like, dude, I was wrestle when I was a coach at Martin County.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, and I was like, dang.
Small world, for sure.
Like,
small world.
Shoot, I'm old. I was coaching high school, watching this kid wrestle. And then all of a sudden, now I got him a podcast.
Right. It's definitely a small world.
It is small.
I was just trying to figure it out back then. I started my junior year, so I'm just out there trying to figure out what I'm doing using athleticism and speed and trying to win some matches back then. Yeah.
Well, you figured it out. That's for sure.
Yeah. You learned something along the way.
Right. Yeah.
Not only you figured it out from an athletic standpoint, but you most certainly figured it out from a coach's standpoint. I can tell, just from like the success that you've had so far. I mean, you're an athlete's coach, man. I can tell that there's probably a lot of love in that program, and I'm sure the culture's, out of this world. And just everybody that comes in contact with not only your program but yourself, that I talk to consistently. I mean, they have just the best things to say about you. So we're super fortunate that you're here in Middle Tennessee and just Tennessee in general. And don't go anywhere. We need you there.
All right.
We need that Cumberland program to be not only very, very relevant, but as successful as what you have it going on right now. So we appreciate all you're doing for our state, for sure, Coach.
Thank you. We're gonna try to keep it rolling. We're gonna try to keep it going for sure. So
love it. Kenya, you got anything else for this Campbellsville guy?
This Campbellsville guy. I think you might call him a Cumberland guy. But before we let you go, I actually did want to ask one more question. For kids, I mean, I think we ask this for girls all the time, but I think the issue is still relevant for boys in our state. Like, what advice would you give to a high school wrestler, in Tennessee or elsewhere, who wants to wrestle in college, thinks they're qualified, maybe they've got good grades, they're not too bad at the whole wrestling thing, but they don't have colleges like knocking on their door. What advice would you give to them?
I would say if they're not talking to you, then you got to come to us. There's plenty of opportunity if you reach out. So I get probably about 10 emails a day. I'm the kind of coach that looks at all of them. I'll at least look at them and look at the grades and look. And if I don't watch the film, I'll have one of my coaches watch the film. So I'd say most programs have on their website, they have a questionnaire or something like that. About half the coaches look at those. National tournaments are always great if you're just wrestling. Even if you're not placing at those, if you go to some of the national tournaments just to showcase some of your skill, it just shows us that you're a wrestler. You're a year-round guy. You're willing to travel. You're seeking the best competition. like it shows us that you're a wrestler. Like, so just going to those and participate means something. Like, you don't necessarily have to place, but get out, wrestle some different competition. Try to get your film in front of some coaches. Because if I watch film, or if I even just get a questionnaire without film and I look up your name and I see you wrestling at Super 32 and you went 1 and 2, like, you get points for just wrestling at Super, for just going, in my eyes. You know, so get out, try to seek the best competition. You know, none of us are afraid to develop a guy. So, you know, just seek the best competition, act and seem like you're the type of guy that wants it. And somebody will bring you in for sure. There's a lot of scholarship money in the smaller divisions as well. So if you're not a Division I guy, you could probably get more money anyway in a D2 type deal. So I feel like a lot of people don't know that, but Division I's landlocked at 9.9 or wherever they're at now. And the smaller schools have a little bit more flexibility with the money. So, if that's important to you, and if you're worried about the finances, just try it. Most schools can make it work for you, combine some scholarships and make the money situation work for you for sure.
That's all.
That's great. That's fantastic advice.
Yes,
Great
sir.
question, Kenya.
Hey, all right, I'll sneak one in. All right. Well,
Awesome.
Coach James, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much, Coach. We really appreciate your time, man.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
You got it. Best of luck to you at the Nationals.
Thank you.
Okay, take care now. Yeah, that's awesome, man. He's doing I'm telling you, he's doing a knockout job there. Again, I mean, it's like those things. I mean, it was always consistency there, man. He's really just, man, not only dug his heels in, man, he's freaking put a solid foundation out there. So really, really proud to have him in the state. So really great guy, and yeah, very lucky. So, man, we went over tonight.
A little bit.
Oh,
But
hey,
good.
welcome to this Tuesday's version of the Power Hour and a Half podcast.
Hour and a half.
I am your
Almost close better.
Yeah, well, you know what? I mean, shoot. Listen, we had 3. You called it today on the text.
Solid.
You said it's gonna be a really good show. You're dang right, it's a good show. Dang right. We had a lot of good results, 3 great guests, and a lot of knowledge getting dropped.
Absolutely.
So, all right.
Next week will be fun to review. We'll have
Shoot,
way
we
more.
got a girls' state tournament, we got a boys' state tournament, and we have national prep results.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's gonna be hard to find guests for next week. Maybe next week will be a Power Hour and 3/4.
I don't know. I mean, we're just gonna have to, like I said, I'm gonna have to bring out that fast Filipino voice again and get through those boys' rolls. So we can get the guests on, so they can get everybody tuning in. So awesome. Well, good. Kenny, you got anything else for anybody else?
No, it was great. It's been great. Yeah. We'll everybody be free. Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. Everybody, thank you so much for joining in. We appreciate all your support. We're getting our views are getting, I mean, not only our lifetime views, but our views overall are getting up there. We're getting there, moving on up. Yeah. So, all right. Good deal. All right. We appreciate everyone. Thanks so much. And we will see you next week with even more results and even more awesome guests. Yeah. Good luck to everyone wrestling this weekend. Yep. Absolutely. All right. Good night, everyone.